Former U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder has been spending a lot of time in Wisconsin lately. He's been here at least 3 times in the past year. In March, he met with his favorite community activist organization, Black Leaders Organizing Communities, or BLOC.
I'm glad to be here. I salute you for the great work that you have done. I look forward to working with you over the course of this year and again next year, and then even beyond that, because I think that the deal is we have to play the long game.
Holder heads a group called the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, or NDRC. Redrawing Wisconsin's voting districts is one of its top priorities.
This state, is in some ways ground zero for gerrymandering. Democrats win more votes for the assembly than Republicans do, and yet have far fewer numbers of Democratic assemblymen in the state legislature.
That's because districts are drawn according to population, not according to voter turnout. And that's because elected officials are supposed to represent everyone that lives in their districts, not just those who vote. Also, Holder sees something sinister in the way Wisconsin draws its voting districts, by duly elected officials in the state capitol.
Before, it was Scott Walker and those two in a Republican legislature. They were the ones drawing the lines. And literally, they were drawing the lines in a room off the floor of the Wisconsin legislature. They draw the lines, and they just said, small group, and they brought them out and said, all right, vote on these.
There will be no excuses this time around, now that a Democrat, Governor Tony Evers, will be at the table. But Holder's work in Wisconsin is far from done. He also wanted to hear about supposed voter suppression efforts in Milwaukee, and this group gave him plenty of fodder, mostly involving people not knowing where to vote.
Different locations too. If you're not registered there, they make you go somewhere else where you registered for, and the next week you might not be there.
Right. Right. So changing the polling locations.
Yeah.
They make it difficult sometimes.
Or sometimes when you move.
Yeah.
So once you move, then that means you're outside of the district, and then you have to re-register for whatever polling area it is.
I was done. I mean, I went to 3 different ones, so I just think that they need to get a better system of where you can actually vote at,
Although these are all problems that trace back to the Democrat-dominated City Hall in Milwaukee, Holder had a different message.
And this is all part of this whole voter suppression effort that you see that Scott Walker and the Republicans put in place. I mean, these aren't accidents. These aren't accidents. You don't know which place to go to. You get ballots late. You don't have the right ID. This is all part of a system that was put in place to keep people who are perceived to be Democrats, people of color, away from the polls.
Then there's the issue that you can't vote in Wisconsin with an Illinois driver's license.
If you didn't have a Wisconsin ID, I had to turn people away. So people came with Illinois IDs and they couldn't vote.
A lot of students, even though we've lived in Wisconsin for 3+ years, you need a passport if you're not from Wisconsin, if you don't have your a Wisconsin ID. So a lot of the times kids didn't have their passports because you don't walk around with your passport on you. So I was a pollster, and I had to turn a lot of people away because they didn't have their passports on them.
By the way, state law requires new residents to trade in their old driver's license for a Wisconsin driver's license within 60 days of establishing residency here. That never came up in this meeting, but it won't be long before Holder is back here for another meeting, and then another after that.
A year from now, I'll probably be here again, and we'll be talking then about a presidential election. There'll also be another Supreme Court seat that'll be up in 2020.
And so until next time, for the McIver Institute, I'm Bill Osmolsky.